Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is Barbara Ellison, and I am your host today for Barbara and Friends on a Mission. And one of the things for me, having a mission is, number one, so important for our own health and well-being, because it gives us something that we are working towards, something that makes us us. And something to look forward to, gives us purpose and passion in our lives. So for me, I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. And part of happiness is having influence and impact, but also being able to earn income. Because we all deserve, God made it that we all deserve to have happy, healthy, financially free, abundant lives. And one of the things that I am absolutely so grateful for is that I have friends who feel the same way. And I want to introduce you to two of my just absolutely awesome friends who we are now on a mission that is very similar. And so we're going to talk about it today. So we're going to introduce you to Carol Henderson, because ladies goes first, and to Robert Arthur. And welcome, welcome, welcome both of you to the show. How are you both doing today?
I'm doing great.
Feeling blessed.
You know what? That is such a perfect answer. Perfect answer. A friend of mine, she always just says, I am blessed and highly favored.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
And, that's absolutely true. And I want this to be a conversation about how our faith is impacting what we do, how we have found this company that is making a difference already. And I have to tell you, when Carol, I'm going to blame her. When Carol introduced me to this,
I'll take it.
and you're going to take it. When Carol introduced me to the name of the company is Zalevo, and when she introduced me to this company, it was just one more thing that I was going to try in a long list of thousands of things that I had already tried. So just absolutely did not think it would make any difference. But I knew it, like one of my things is I have been supplementing my diet since I was 12. So I've tried a lot of products over the years, and it was just timing. And I truly believe that it was the Lord's timing right now. I had just finished my supply of the former company. Wasn't totally enjoying the house, as Carol says, it wasn't liking my body so much. So when Carol introduced me to this, I said, fine, Carol, I'll just order and do a 3-day challenge. And she challenged me to do a 3-day challenge. And you know what? It was absolutely the easiest 3-day challenge that I've ever done. And the only thing I noticed was that I was more mentally alert. And I didn't think I would have results, because I've supplemented my diet since I was 12. So I just thought, I'm already healthy. Like my arthritis is under control. My allergies and asthma is under control. I don't have any of those other body aches and symptoms that I used to, where there were some days where I just literally couldn't walk. All of those things have subsided over the years because I supplement my diet. We must supplement our diet. Mm-hmm. So when I was introduced to this, it was like, oh, okay. Not expecting to have results, but I noticed it in my mental focus and energy. I went, okay, fine, I'll continue with this. But then it was like, okay, I'm just going to stay on the products. But God has plans for us all. And he was kind of nudging me that, Barbara, you need to share this. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm busy. I'm doing other things. And no. And then finally it was like, Barbara, yes, you are. So here I am, and I just want to have Robert and Carol share just information. And because I don't know, I'm just new, but I know that I'm excited and I love the product. So Robert, let's start with you, because you are the genius, of course, behind this, and you can tell us your story.
Well, I would hesitate at saying even remotely anything close to being a genius behind this, but I definitely I caught the contagious positivity bug behind this. And I always say, part of what I felt was like that, you go from the black and white old Magnavox to that multicolor RCA type feeling. For me, I like you, I've been around health and wellness in the healing arts, along with, I've always had some kind of nutritional, I call it a nutritional partner out here beside me that I trust.
Right.
I love having a trusted nutritional toolbox.
Right.
And that being said, you know, part of my background was I attained very high levels. If both you and Carol know this, I was a endurance athlete for most of my life, early on up until my 30s or so. But I reached a point in my athletic journey where, because of a little bit of overtraining and at that time poor nutritional habits, if you will, or choices, my body just took a nosedive. And it was nutrition that kind of woke me up, really, crazy enough, at the same time that I stepped into the healing art journey as a therapist. Nutrition came along, and it was literally a godsend for me, because it helped me, it gave my body what it needed to begin that rebuilding process from that really chronic depletion, if you will. And I had some answers, but then again, kind of like your story, I think both of you and Carol both, recently, I say recently, the last even 2 or 3 years, I had begun to spiral down a bit. And so I wasn't really proactively saying what's all out here, but at a deeper level, I was very open. And like you, it was one of my actually, your good friend Carol was one of my spiritual mentors and best friends who had found this. I reached out and did my due diligence. It was an answer, prayed about it, you know, and once I put the formulations in my body, it was an answer. And then, like all three of us, I couldn't help but have an obligation. I said, well, I gotta share this as well. So it's been a wonderful journey. It's only been, my goodness, 9 weeks?
Right, we're all new, and yet, but you know, the thing is, though, that I loved about you, Robert, is that you came from a 25-year background. You know, that always helped.
That always helps.
Yeah. So awesome. So Carol, tell us your story.
Well, I've been on the health and wellness journey since my children were very little. Actually, even before. My grandfather was a pharmacist back in the day when they all compounded the capsules. And I used to put the capsules in the little tray and put the powder in them and put the lids on them and then put all the powder back in the big bottle. I mean, that was one of the things I did when I visited in the summer. So I guess I've always been around it, because the things I learned from him and from my mom about alternative is
Right.
what we call it now, is priceless. And so I was always open to that end. You know, went to doctors as a child. It wasn't that we disdained doctors, but you know, it's like that was after you've tried the home remedies, so to speak. And so, you know, I've actually worked with different products. I've been, you know, a health and wellness coach over the years. I've not talked a lot about that, but even when I owned my modeling agency, if the kids would get sick, their parents would say, go see Carol. I'm not taking you to the doctor till you go see what she has for you. And so, you know, we do the colloidal silver and all the different, you know, tinctures and such. And so I too had, you know, I was on excellent products, had some major things. My husband broke his back in 87, which led me deeper into real researching problems, because he was on over 18 medications and was taking medications to hold down the medications.
Wow.
And like one of them made his skin peel off like a blanched peach. So we've got him down to one now of all that. And that's due to nutrition and changing lifestyles. But it was bad enough that he broke his back badly enough that he actually ended up on a walker and in a wheelchair and was on full disability. So now he's up and around and, you know, working hard, actually. So that's kind of my background. And when I found Zalevo, it was like, well, it just kind of crossed my path. I met Robert through another group of networkers that I'm with, and Barbara's in that group also. And so I reached out and said, hey, and I was going to tell him about what I had, and I did, and he told me about what he had, and I'm like, And then he invited me to a couple of Zoom meetings. I'm like, okay, I'm sold. I watched some of the videos, and the girl, Kirsten, okay, did such a good job on one of the videos talking about how your body, when it's fasting, and how it needs to be supplemented. And people don't realize that. They think they can just do a water fast and go on it for days, but it's really difficult and hard on your body. And that's one of the things Keith and I had quit doing because of all the medications that he was on. But after watching that, and she was so knowledgeable and took us through the processes and talked about the different scientific things that go on in your body, that I knew some of it, but I didn't know some of the detail or some of the extent. And so it was very, very good. And so I was impressed by that. And then Robert invited me to a call with some of our other friends that work with this company. And I heard more, and I'm like, okay, let's order me some product. So my husband is drinking it, loves it, asks for it. And, he's, with all the things he's been through, he's not easily impressed with things. So that has been very, very good. And then I've had a little surprise. I totally went into this for just health and wellness because, my age is getting there, and I am not going down without a fight. I personally believe that in Genesis 6, God tells us we have 120 years, and I'm going for it.
I'm going for 140.
Yeah. But, so that's where I am. And so I've got to take care of this temple to be able to have it make that long. So anyway, the results have been astonishing to me. I'm not hungry. I don't want to snack. I don't want sweets. I don't, it's like they're there. I could go eat them, but it's not something that I'm thinking, oh, I'd really like that. And it's not that way. And on top of that, I've got to go buy clothes.
Which is good.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. I just hate to shop. After being in the modeling industry for so many years, I hate to shop. I hate to go to the stores and stuff. But and I've always hated trying clothes on because I had become accustomed to my size, and I had become resigned to my size, I guess is the best way to put it. And all of a sudden I have some pounds, yes, pounds, but I have lots of size going. I'm maintaining my muscle mass, but I'm losing the fat. And it surprised me when I caught a glance of myself in my pants I wore to town the other day. And so I shot a video and I sent it to Barbara and said, you're not gonna believe this.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, it was huge. The pants were huge.
Yeah, I'm putting on clothes that I haven't worn in a couple of years, and they were very snug. And now they're not.
Right.
So, but I think for me, more it's the energy and the, and I thought of myself as being high energy. Like people say to me, oh, brother, you run rings around all of us. And here's you at 71. And today I went on to a Zoom call, and one of the gals that she was the leader of the Zoom call, she looked at me and she said, gee, Barb, what are you doing? You are looking beautiful these days. That last few times that you've come on to Zoom. And I was like, well, thank you very much. I'll take that. Because it's showing up in my skin. When you are nourished, it shows. It shows. Being nourished leaves clues.
Yes.
Visible clues.
Visible clues. So yeah. This is so cool. So yeah, and and this is not meant to be to say, hey, you got to buy our products. I would encourage you to at least look at them. And I'll, in the show notes, I'll put a link where you can, and to find out more about these amazing products, or you can take part in one of our surveys of just to see where to see the things that are available to you. And we can also, send you over a quick little video and let you know about it.
Well, also we could invite you to a challenge.
That's
Anybody out there that's up for a challenge?
up for a challenge. And that's exactly what Carol did with me. She said, gee, Barb, join the challenge. And I went, what's the challenge? And, and I understood intermittent fasting. Absolutely. I had done it for years, but always found it very difficult.
Yeah.
Always found it very difficult. But with this, it has been amazing to have the products in between, and we have specific things that aid in the fasting process, in the intermittent fasting process. So it has just been amazing. It has made it easy, and I'm just loving it. So, but you know what, more than taking the products, it's the nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Our bodies know what it needs. And if, and people say, well, what if you overdose? You cannot overdose on good nutrition. God made our bodies. We are wondrously made. God made our bodies to work right. And when you put the right things in, it will respond by working correctly.
Right.
And it's not just weight loss, but if you have aches and pains, or if you have trouble, like a friend of mine today, she said, well, yeah, I have trouble with my gut. And so much of your wellness comes from your gut. And that's because we're not getting the right ingredients, the right nutrients in our diet itself. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. Come and join us. It's a freebie. Come and join one of our training calls. Come and join one of our, we call them pulse calls from the company itself, and anybody can join them. So find out for yourself. As Robert says, do your due diligence. Find out if this is right for you. And if you're ready to take charge of your wellness, because wellness is, yes, it's your body, it's also your mental, personal development also. And that's one of the things that I love about this. We talk about all aspects of wellness. Mm-hmm. And that's also financial wellness.
Yes, and if I may add this too,
Sure.
one of our top values and emphasis is that we do as a community, company, team is personal growing ourselves, mm-hmm. Become a better papa, a better mama, a better brother, a better sister, better, and you're not just your business walk, obviously the leadership principles and mentoring and team building, but also how to become simply a better person. And so we really invest a lot in personal growth and development. We're all flying into a retreat, for example, that normally a lot of these retreats, this is a high level breakthrough retreat, which normally would cost $1,000 or a couple thousand. And because we're involved in this community, we qualified for the retreat. So I do want to add a note here that it's also, I've grown more as a person and as an individual exponentially than I ever would outside of this type of business vehicle through the years. Mm-hmm. So,
right. Because sometimes it's not a matter of what you know, it's who you know and how you can help them to become who they want to be.
Yeah, and who we become in the process.
And who we become in the process. Mm-hmm. Exactly, because it's all, wellness is all encompassing. Can't think of the word, encompassing, because wellness is your mind, your body, your spirit. Oh, so if you're ready to take charge, let us know. Ask a question. This has just been a great conversation, and you can ask a question. So Carol, you want to say something?
Yes, and if look into it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Or if it's not for you now, it's not for you now. There's no wrong answer. It's just do your due diligence, check it out, because I don't know that any of the three of us went after this expecting what we received.
Right.
And so check it out, because if you don't, you'll never know. So what if you did make the leap? Where would your life be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now if you did and if you didn't? Kind of look at it that way, because all it is watching a couple of quick videos and getting back with us, and we will love you either way.
Right, exactly. And I'm going to back up my story just a little bit. When I was introduced to Zalevos, as I said, it was one more thing that I was going to try in a long list of thousands of things. But when I look back at my journey, where it started back when I was in my 40s, I was on so much medication and nothing was helping.
Mhm.
And that's when I said, look, there has got to be a better way. And the doctors could not help me. And that's when I actively started looking for alternative medicine, because Western medicine was not helping me. So there's got to be something else out there. God made our bodies to work right. I just have to do my due diligence and find it. So over the years, I have tried a lot of different things. Some worked really well. Some not so much. But this, I mean, I can't get over how many results I had so quickly.
Yes.
And so profoundly, really thinking that I am pretty much a really healthy person now because of what I'd started in my 40s.
Yeah.
And now at my 70s, I feel better now in my 70s than I did in my 40s. So right now, if you're starting to feel your age, and that age can sometimes be, I know 25-year-olds that feel like they're 80 because they've abused their bodies, either through sports or whatever. If you're looking
and it's
for an
even
answer,
also the stuff they're putting in our food now
and not putting
that
it, and
is causing younger
Right.
people to be more ill.
like
Yeah.
diabetes is on the rise, and depression and anxiety, and
And
those are all
arthritis.
nutrients. Those
Yeah.
are all nutrient related.
And that's the combo, isn't it, guys? It's kind of a paradox, because it's what's in our food. It's
Mhm.
also what's missing
Right.
in our food too. It's both. It's what's in it that doesn't belong. It's also what's missing that our body desperately needs. And
Right.
it's also even what's already in our body, because we're eating, breathing, bathing around the air and the water and the new car smell, which is what chemicals. So again, it's both what doesn't helping the body shed what doesn't belong in a beautiful way, and then to also feed and nourish at the same time, and then to help the body balance with the stress, and then to give you support, that happy tummy and gut,
Mhm.
which is the epicenter, that little biome, and that we call it. That's truly the second brain of the body. It affects everything in the body. So there's some beautiful concepts that once you're aware of, and then you reach out, learn a bit, and then maybe act on it, then you feel it, so.
Right. So, so parting last words, Carol.
Try it, you'll like it.
Yeah. That was going to be mine.
That's what
All right,
popped
Robert,
into my
last
head.
words.
I think we've heard that one, but I love it. I love it. Or Nike, just do it. And part of it, I guess my closing thought is this, is that there's a reason things happen. I call them divine nudges, and mine happened to come in the form of a mentor and close friend. It was a divine nudge, and I reached out. Obviously you both had this little nudge. Carol and I happened to be networking, not even on the wellness or even abundance. It was more of a networking, because on purpose driven, mission driven entrepreneur type call. And that was a nudge that said, let's connect, even before the call ended. And then because of that, Carol, you and Barbara met. There's a reason that brought you to this call. And maybe one of the reasons, if you reach out, could be a tremendous gift, and that's up to you. But yeah, so many people are praying for an answer, and I'm just so glad and grateful that we have some solutions to provide them. So
Right. And that's my final thing too, is that, if you're praying for an answer, 2020 was a financially devastated for many, many people. If that's you and you're looking for a financial vehicle to replace or to supplement or to just go wild with, wow, we have this is a great vehicle. That's like Robert and I, we were talking before this call, and some people want a Volkswagen and some people want a minivan, but some people want a Porsche. We have room for everybody. There's room for everybody. And they say that more than 60% of bankruptcies could be resolved for $300 a month.
Yes.
So, if that's your focus too right now, reach out to us. Find out about becoming a wellness partner with us. You can do that. Anyways, but if it's your personal wellness that's at stake right now, reach out to us. So the choice is yours. So thanks for listening. This is Barbara and Friends on a Mission. Thank you so much for being part of it. And if you have a mission that you want to share, be sure to reach out to me and come on this show and share your mission. And I would love to have you. So have an awesome, awesome day, and God bless you. Bye-bye.